Hello all, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel, that is SciMa Academy. This is Prema here and I will be taking up a new topic in mathematics grade 9. Circles are everywhere. From the wheels spinning or the pizza that you eat or the clock or the time that you see in the clock and even in the coins in your pocket, right? So circles are everywhere. But what makes a circle a circle? Or what is a radius? What is a diameter and why diameter is the longest? And how shapes like a sector or a segment is present inside a circle? So let's explore the world of circles with me. So how do we define a circle? See, suppose if I make a circle now, okay, so this is one circle which I made. I can make a bigger one also. If you see how I make, if you see there are points, there are different points. Here you see different points, right? The points which it is taking. So we are joining all the points here. We are joining all the points we are joining, right? So what we are getting? We are getting a round shape. So here what we saw is, so there were many points here, right? As when I was constructing, you saw there were many points. So these points, when you join these points, okay, they are all equidistant from the common point that is at the center. This was the center at the compass which I took, okay? So these are all the distance which are same here if you see. So circle is a, so how do we define a circle? So circle is a shape or a figure, okay? You can call it as a shape or a figure also, formed by combining many points. So I combined so many points, I combined these points, right? I joined these points. So it is formed by combining many points which are equidistant or which are at an equal distance from a fixed point. Now what is this fixed point? This fixed point is the center. If I name it as O, so this is the fixed point, that is the center, and this fixed distance which you see here, okay? So every point is at a fixed distance. So this fixed distance is the radius, okay? This is a fixed distance and this is the fixed center, fixed point, okay? So circle is defined as a shape or a figure formed by combining many points which are at a equidistant, which is equidistant from a fixed point called the center. This is how we define a circle, okay? So now we will learn different terms, okay? There are 10 terms which I am going to explain you, the 10 terms which are related to the topic circle. So before you start the chapter circle, you have to know, you should be well aware of these 10 terms which are related to circle, alright? So first let us start with the radius. So I showed you just now how we make a circle, right? So again if I show you, okay, I'll again show you how we make. Okay, so if I make a little bit a bigger circle, so if you see here, I am making a circle, right? Here I can make a little bigger also. So you see I have made a even bigger circle, right? So here what we see here, we have a center point, that is O here, and the radius, this is the radius, okay? Now radius is actually, you can consider it as like a arm of the circle, like how we have arms, arms can reach till where we want to reach, right? So arms, so radius is like a arm of the circle, okay? So you make a smaller radius, you get a smaller circle. If you make a bigger radius, suppose bigger radius, you make a bigger circle. I can make a bigger radius, okay? You can make a bigger radius. See, this is a bigger radius, right? So what is the length of the radius? Based on that you will get different size of the circles, right? Here we get a smaller circle, a little bigger circle. Here I made a huge circle. All right, so radius, if you see from this figure, so this is the fixed, this you see, this is the fixed distance. Okay, this is the radius. Now this is also the radius, even this is also a radius, right, which is at a fixed distance from the center. Now if you combine two radius, what you get? You get the diameter. Now diameter is actually r plus r, or we can write diameter is equal to 2r. Okay, so diameter is the twice of the radius, 2 times of the radius, okay, or the double of the radius. Okay, so I've already explained you what is a circle. So circle, I've already told you, this is the center, this is the radius, right, and the double of the radius is the diameter. This is the diameter, and diameter is equal to 2r. Okay, now semicircle, actually, now the diameter, now what is diameter? Diameter, I told you, it is a line which passes through the center. Okay, now diameter is a line which passes through the center. Okay, and it divides, if you see in the figure, it divides the circle into 2 equal parts. You can see in the figure also here. Now this is the diameter, it is dividing into first part and the second part. So both the parts are the equal parts. So this half part, if you see, this is called as the semicircle. Semi means half. Okay, so the diameter divides the circle into 2 equal parts, which is called a semicircle. So you see the semicircle, you can see in many shapes, right? You can see in many shapes, you can see they've given you an igloo here, they've given you here a protractor also in the form of semicircle, a half cut, you know, a slice of watermelon also is given in the form of semicircle. Here this is a, you know, it's like a tunnel they have given you, which is also in the form of semicircle. Okay, so in the tunnel also they've given you in the form of semicircle. So here you can see different shapes which you see, you know, around you, like in the form of semicircle. See here, this is kind of a needle which can show the measures. Here you have a tunnel which is in the form of a semicircle, right? Here this is a protractor you must be using in the geometry. This is also a semicircle. The igloo also, if you see, the igloo also looks like in the form of semicircle, and a slice of watermelon also, if you see, it is a semicircle. Okay, so this is how we see a semicircle. Okay, so semicircle is half of the circle. Okay, so this is also semicircle, this is also semicircle. This is how we make a semicircle. Okay, now what is circumference? Now circumference is the boundary. Okay, the boundary or the length of the total length, the total length of the circle. Okay, now if you see, if you start moving from here till here till here till here, you see you will come back to the same place, right? So one full circle, one full length of this circle, if you see, is considered as the circumference. So circumference formula also you must have learnt, I think circumference formula also you must have learnt, that is 2 pi r, that is 2 into pi into the radius. That's how we find the circumference of a circle. Okay, this is the center O. Now coming to the next term, which is chord. Okay, now chord, as you can see here in the figure, chord is a line segment. See, this is a line segment which we have drawn, right? This is a line segment which is joining the 2 points, any 2 points on the circumference. So this is called as the chord. So if I draw it here, I can show you here. If I take any 2 points, I can join that. So this will be considered as chord. So like that I can make chord even here also, even here also, right? Here also. So I can make so many chords in a circle. Now what is this diameter? You see the diameter is passing through the center of the circle. So this diameter will be considered as the longest chord. Okay. So since the diameter passes from the center of the circle, this is also joining one point to another point. This is also a line segment joining the 2 points in the circle. So since it passes through the center, this is considered as the longest chord. Okay. Now the next term is the arc. Okay, now arc is nothing but it is a piece of circle. In a very simple language, we can say it is a piece of a circle. Suppose if I take this point and this point, I name it as P and Q, R. So I will say this is PRQ, this is arc PRQ. So this is a very small part, right? This is a small piece of the circle, and the remaining piece, if you see, remaining part, this is the remaining part, right? This is the remaining part, which is the bigger part. So this, suppose I say it as S, so this will be PSQ. Okay, so what we can say here, this is the minor arc because it is smaller, and this is the major arc. PSQ is the major arc because it is the bigger part of the circumference. Okay, so arc is always, we see it is a part of the circumference. It is a piece in the circle. It is a piece of the circumference of the circle. Okay, so PRQ is the minor arc and PSQ is the major arc. You can see here also they have drawn here. See, this is the minor arc and the remaining part will be considered as the major arc. Okay. Now coming to the next term, that is sector. Okay, now sector is, you can easily relate with a slice of pizza. Now how will be pizza? Pizza is like this round, right? If you cut a slice of pizza, you see this is called as the sector. Okay, I can draw it here also for you. So now how we are seeing from the center O. Suppose center O, and we cut a slice. So what we are taking, this is a radius and this is also a radius, right? So this is a region. This region is called as the sector. And we have one more region here. What is the other region? We have the other region. This is the bigger region also we get, right? This is the bigger region. So can you see there are two regions? So basically what is sector? Sector is the region between the two radii and the arc. Okay, so if you see here, this is the two radii, these are the two radius, and this is radius, and this is, which arc is this? Just now I told you it is a minor arc. Okay, so this is called as the minor sector. Okay, because this is a region between the two radius and the minor arc, and obviously the remaining part will be the major arc, major sector. Okay, because it is between the two radius, again the same radius, but which arc is this? It is a major arc. That's why it is this sector formed as the major sector. You can see here also, this is the minor sector, and the yellow part which you see is the major sector. Okay, so we have, this is R, and this is the major arc. This is major arc and this is minor arc. Okay, so we get two sectors, minor sector and major sector. Okay, this is how we understand what is the meaning of a sector. Okay, coming to the other term, which is concentric circles. Now concentric circles are actually the circles. Here we draw many circles with same center. They have a common center but different radius. Okay, so you can easily relate when you see a dartboard. Okay, you can easily relate when you see a dartboard. So now this is the dartboard. So can you see here? You can see, see, this is one circle, small circle. This is a bigger circle, and this is one more circle, right? In the dartboard, when you see. So if you see, the center is common, right? Here same common center you have, but here the radius is different. So here the radius are how? So this is a very small radius, right? Now this radius is little big, and this bigger circle's radius is even bigger, right? So the circles having the same center but different radius. Okay, here you can see easily, here this is the center O, so this is the radius, suppose R, and the other circle, the green circle will have a bigger radius, maybe considered as R2, right? So these circles are called as concentric circles. Okay. There are two more terms which you have to also learn here, that is secant. Now secant is like you are chopping the circle. That means you are cutting the circle, okay, at 2 points. So it is like a double cutter. Okay, so here the secant, you cut the circle at 2 points. So what are the 2 points here shown? P and Q, right? So secant is a line segment which cuts the circle at 2 points. Okay, but tangent, now what is tangent? Tangent will meet the circle only at 1 point. See, it touches the circle only at 1 point, suppose R. Okay, so this line will be called as the tangent. Okay, so the secant, tangent and all will be related to some of the properties of circle which you have to study. Okay, see now here all the terms are actually labeled here. See, this is the radius, they have given you chord. Chord is dividing the circle into the minor segment, and this grey color you have the major segment, right? And this is the center. This is the center. Then you have a sector. Okay, a part, this is the mustard color they have shown you as a sector. Okay, even you have a bigger sector also you can make. Okay, and this line is the diameter. Okay, this is the major arc. So this is the minor arc, the pink color which you see is a smaller arc, and this green color is the major arc. Okay, so hope you understood, you got some idea of certain terms, how we use them in the circle, and what do they represent, okay, how they look like in the circle, right? So hope you found this video informative. Subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming with more videos soon. Thank you. Bye bye.